Nallan Station Stay is a working cattle station conveniently located on the Great Northern Highway 12 kilometres northeast of Kew, almost halfway between Perth and the Karijini National Park, making it the ideal stopover. Nallan Station incorporates the Miners Pathway and Milley Soak. It is close to several other historic and natural attractions and has an international reputation for its bird life. The property, originally known as Poplar Downs, was bought by Patrick Morrissey in 1915, and at that time it was reported the grass was stirrup high. The name was changed to Nalun, an Aboriginal name meaning good eating. Over the years, many improvements have been made and additional land holdings added, increasing the size of the station to just under 100,000 hectares today. As of September 2016, the main homestead is the private residence for the owners, Cath and Dave. Accommodation choices include a quaint two-bedroom, fully self-contained cottage, complete with large country kitchen, modern bathroom, air conditioning, laundry and huge dining and living area. This former manager's accommodation has been built along similar lines to the main homestead, with wonderful high ceilings, polished dark timber floors, an old original Metis wood stove, and wide verandas provide a place to sit and enjoy a cold beverage, all adding to the charm of this delightful cottage. The shearers' quarters, built late 1920s, together with the amenities, laundry, toilet and shower block, and camp kitchen, have all been recently renovated, incorporating modern conveniences but not losing any of the rustic charm that makes this property so unique. Caravan and camping areas in natural surroundings, together with an undercover barbecue area and communal fire pit, make Nallan Station a great place to relax and an ideal base to spend a few days experiencing Gold Rush history and remarkable natural attractions. There is plenty to see around the homestead. On our visit, there were well-fed and contented stock in the yards, some friendly pigs in another yard, and a wide range of bird life that draws bird lovers from all over the world. It is a credit to the various owners that over time they have striven to maintain the historic value of the station and preserved it so visitors can get some appreciation of living condition in its early days. The old meat house, designed in the days before refrigeration to provide good airflow, has wide sloping roof coming down to about a metre from the ground, well away from the walls. The walls were built to half height, with the upper sections of wire mesh. The design provided a relatively cool environment for the meat to hang, and it is still in use today, but not for extended storage of meat. Nallan Lake is a nature reserve, and other than in times of drought when it may dry up, it is a haven for a huge array of plant and bird life, including black swans. During periods of heavy winter rains, Lake Nallan surrounds will become covered with carpets of colourful everlastings and other flowers. In 1905, the West Australian Government Railways built a station at the lake, and this became a popular spot for the annual WAGR picnic, where trains would converge from Meekatharra in the north and Kew from the south. Nallan Station is approximately 99,500 hectares in area, and its boundaries measure roughly 60 kilometres by 20. It has hundreds of kilometres of mostly sandy tracks crisscrossing the property, and it took us over 5 minutes from the main road to reach the Nalun Woodline Gate. We then drove on for several kilometres with evidence of the woodline just to the left of the track, eventually coming to an area where the woodline was clearly visible. Nallan Station had an extensive network of woodlines, and we were very fortunate that our stay coincided with a visit from Phil Bianchi, the author of Woodlines of Western Australia. While he was on the station, we joined him on a field trip to identify many of the woodlines on Nalun. In May 1907, George Baxter won the contract to build the Nalun woodline, beginning at the Nallan Station and heading in an easterly direction. By January 1908, the first 12 miles, or 19 kilometres, was completed, and in the same month the first load of firewood was delivered. The system initially employed 170 cutters and 20 horse teams to supply 5,000 tonnes of wood a month from a belt of mulga. By June in the same year, the Murchison Firewood Company had delivered 23,000 tonnes of firewood. As you drive along the Nallan woodline today, it is very hard to imagine how the area could have supplied such a large volume of firewood for the Great Fingal mine up to its closure in April 1918. Although the original line has long since been removed, the outline of its position is clearly identifiable as you traverse the area. At one point, we felt reasonably sure there had been a camp, as stones appeared to have been raked aside, as you would if making a camp, and we found several rusty tins, a few dogs or spikes, and an old file. Nearby, there were severely rotted and white ant-eaten sleepers, still resting on the woodline. This was the only remaining section of the line where the sleepers were clearly visible. One can only hope that future visitors leave the area as they find it. Working conditions on the Nallan woodline were tough. The bush around Kew was poor in comparison to Lancefield, which produced 2.5 tonnes per acre, whereas Nalun was only half a tonne to the acre. In addition, too many workers were employed, and due to a shortage of rails, the men were idle 50% of the time. Although drinking water was supplied on the main line, it had to be carted by the men working on the branch lines in their own time. There were many other organisational problems that resulted in a very unhappy workforce and resulted in the men going on strike for 12 weeks. This forced the mine to close until the strike ended on 30th of November, when the men agreed to return to work at their previous rate of 5 shillings and 6pence a tonne, but with a substantial improvement in working conditions. Countryside around here is described as the mulga, because the predominant trees are a type of acacia called mulga. They are characterised by tough, usually narrow, grey-green leaves, and are very tolerant to low rainfall. There are a lot of sorts of plants, and the area is noted for its spectacular wildflower shows. Although there is low rainfall and no permanent river, Nalun was a good place to settle because there was abundant underground water of good quality, which was pumped into troughs in most of the paddocks. Unfortunately, today, due to several years of drought, and we suspect local open-cut mines pumping water from their open-cut mines, the water table has dropped. This presents a growing problem for station owners needing to increase the depth of their bores. Windmills are progressively being replaced with solar pumps. Aboriginal people first revealed the location of Milley Soak, which became an important local water supply. Water was carted from the soak for 2 shillings a gallon. In the 1890s, a hospital was established near the soak, and in 1895 the water supply department sank a well. There is a cemetery within 300 metres of the soak that contains 5 graves. 3 of the men buried there died during the typhoid epidemic of 1893. David Edward Crew, Giffen Peterson, one of the Nallan Station's previous owners, is also buried there, together with Thomas O'Connor, who died in May of 2000. The Nallan breakaways are among the most spectacular in the Murchison region, and well worth the long drive out to visit them. For those seeking great photos and drone footage, we recommend sunrise or sunset for absolutely stunning shots. This footage was taken in mid-morning on a relatively dull day. We hope you've enjoyed our tour of Nalun.